Hi, I'm Chris from airwindows, and this is a bit of a famous plugin that's coming to the free VST realm now. Its name is High Impact. Here's what this guy does. It's a distortion, but it's a distortion that doesn't fatten up the sound. Like here, I'll demonstrate that by comparing it to density 2 here. And we'll throw on like maybe this track, same as usual. We've got it padded a little bit so it doesn't blow you up. So density makes everything really fat. High impact, on the other hand, it's an unusual little plugin in that what high impact does is it does its distortion, but it's also got a complementary kind of expansion in the transfer function to dial back things like bass bloom and whatever, so that you get an edge on the attack of things like percussive sounds, and those will distort, but without making the body of the sound particularly fatter. So what you get is an effect kind of like this. Listen to those pads and snare hits and things. They get a lot more intense without the main body of everything getting that much different. Now, it might be even better to use this very beginning section and perhaps here's a repeat. Scooch it over here so that we can hear before the bass kicks in, because this plugin is really best suited to individual sounds that don't have a really full body to them. It's able to make things really slam as long as you don't have lots of background sound, like the lows on the bass synthesizer there are so strong that they're pushing high impact to well, here I can demonstrate by showing what it's not like. Here is a track, and then as we start pushing it, you can hear it getting a lot bigger, don't you? Compare this with this. That kick drum is now pounding. But it's not splatting and muddying everything up a huge amount. It's getting out of the way a little bit. Or I can make it splat, but it takes kind of a lot to do it. Like if I do this, all of a sudden that snare drum has gone completely insane, but it's not filling up the rest of the sound with ridiculousness. You're not hearing a huge amount of additional reverberation or thickness around the snare. It's just the top end of the snare whacking at you like this. And then you can blend in dry wet. So what we can do is just make it obscene. And then sneak in a little bit with the dry wet, which I don't think I had that the previous time. Interesting. real character out of it. And then as we dial this back, compare that with the dry. Here's our dry. Here is high impact. It's still pretty clean. It's not getting all messy like I can show you some messy. Here is the same thing on Drive 2. And roughly the same amount of dry wet. Do that, but it doesn't really let go quite as much, and this is one of the better distortions out of airwindows for this type of sound, but it just doesn't have the crispness of high impact. It's just more staccato. It's just got a better way of handling that transition of making the snare hits and the transients absolutely slam without filling everything else up with mud. Compared with, that's your normal that's more or less your normal distortion. And you can hear the bass is coming out, there's a kind of sustain, there's a kind of thickness. But high impact, and then of course you can have it set up in such a way where it's not even distorting everything all to crap. Instead, you just dial it back a little bit. And then use only as much as you need. Excuse me. Just enough to light up that synthesizer a little bit. Compare that with the dry. Perhaps useful? I think maybe so. High impact has always been a popular plugin, and I'm bringing it to VST so that people can have it and enjoy it. All of this stuff is supported by my Patreon, so please support the Patreon. Add $1 a month. That's about $12 a year. If you can. If you can't, that's fine too. Please don't jump in and be like, I must give you all the money, so I give you $10 a month, and then a month later you're like, I can't do that. And then it's just depressing because it's like a big jump, and then it goes away again when people can't live up to what they were thinking they were going to do. So just stick to something really small. I'd rather make it up in volume. I'd rather make it up in numbers. $1 a month supports the Patreon, and I will continue doing all of this kind of stuff. And I hope you like it.